Welcome everyone. It's a mellow night in Maine. You're listening to Perfection 44. It's a cat purr raga. You may have heard it before. It's 44 minutes long, and it's this interesting astrology of Sun opposition Pluto, recently Moon conjunct Pluto, the sort of spotlight on the dark, so looking deep into ourselves. Congress is looking deep into itself, into the nature of what happened in January. The spotlight on the dark. Kind of a somber feeling. There's a lot of smoke in the air blowing into Maine from California. The sun and the moon are orange. The humidity is sort of amplified. All kinds of interesting things going on. So I thought we'd kind of do the deep forest meditation tonight. Just kind of drop deeper inside than we're used to. Just let the music take you deeper. Sound journey, breathing through the nose into this sort of deep meditative repose. Sometimes I can see you guys. Tonight, you don't seem to be showing up, but I know you're there. And sometimes, at a certain point, right, your chat box pops in, and so, in the meantime, the space between is the happening scene. Just dropping into that deeper wave form, pure I am. Best way, in my opinion, to experience the shadow nature of reality of ourselves is to observe it from a really deep, surrendered, alchemical place where we can, even if we're feeling pain and suffering and sadness and whatever it might be, that in the midst of all of that, it's like there's a steady state awareness that is sort of birthed by all that difficulty often. Just like letting that spotlight on the dark reveal parts of yourself that maybe we're repressing, maybe we're compressing, suppressing, oppressing. We just want to observe what's there. It's like release the bubbles of the pent up stuff. Getting underneath it all. So this raga is this is the label, the cover, beautiful cover by Deanna. And it kind of is a spotlight on the dark. So this light of awareness in the midst of this void space. So the pure I am. Ah, there you guys are. Namaste, namaste. Just see. Hello Sue, hello Sandra. Greetings. Just letting the waveform of the music take you deep. Perfection 44. Standing wave, cat purr. Healing frequency. Spent the day in the deep woods, walking around a pond, soaking in the oxygen. Despite the smoke from the west. creation self. And this is a beam that goes to anyone with Lyme disease, and I'm thinking very specifically of a friend of mine right now. But any of you that may have some kind of tick-borne ailment, spirochete, weirdness, bacterial, fungal, viral issues. This just sends like a blast of photons, just deletes the negative charge that anchors the disease. So it's like, let's turn it into colors. Delete the files. So this would be for everybody's blood. I want the blood to spiral clockwise. Non-turbulent laminar flow. Anyone with a heart condition, I want to spiral the blood. This vortical energy has its own power, works its way through non-turbulently. So we get the right systolic, diastolic integration in the heart, the right AV node, SA node, electronics to the spine. Just reset. If the news is throwing you off or depressing you, or there's something, a lot of spotlight on the dark going on in your own personal life or friends, family, just go underneath the wave, deeper than the dark, depressing doodah, into this spacious lightness. You don't have to be happy. That's hard when things are difficult, but we can be neutral, positive, call it. At least neutral. Accepting for whatever's going on. Brings certain peace. It's funny, I'm hearing the sounds of the ice machine. There's definitely an ice machine out there. A lot of denial. So just coming more into the inner, personal, radiant light. What more can we do, really, right? It's hold the space for the light. Good feeling. Peace. Releasing the clutching of the mind. Just bring it home, back to peace. So for everyone's blood, the bloodlines, the rivers of DNA, going back, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great and great-great-great-grandparents. So for whatever reason, in my kinesiological check, the bandwidth that seems to want our attention is the great-grandparents. It's testing like beep. So parents, grandparents, and then there's this jump. It's like 100 years ago, last flu, kind of like. time. Those people resonating with this time, maybe, in their spirit universe, because most of them are probably not with us physically. So how about this? A healing clearing so that we can release from the collective clutch, right? The collective resonance of disease, however it's perpetrating itself. Like for all those that have cancer out there, someone gets cancer, then they're kind of in that collective, right? So influenced by the ocean of those people with that frequency. So if there's disease in their body, it's usually a lower pH than the 7.2 calibration of water. And it's possible your body's compensating, overdriving the pH, higher pH to compensate for some part of you that's lower pH. So let's say deleting any of these, searchlight into these darker areas which we want to delete. What does that mean? We're just literally using the mind to dematerialize it. Think, well, that's magical thinking. Yes, there's lots of magic in thinking. You just have to have the right thoughts, right? The right directive, the right intention, the right frequency. It's an art. So we want to do that correctly. And delete this stuff. And the attractor from this bandwidth is that generation would like it deleted too. So we snap our fingers in this celebration of this moment, the power of this moment to neutralize negative charge that's accumulated. It's like we're throwing out old garbage, refining the atmosphere, feng shuiing the body, feng shuiing the mind, feng shuiing the heart. It's like an inside out super burst, a starburst. Let's call it gold light starburst, just comes out of our core, shreds anything dark along the way. So it's a self-inscribed Goldilocks zone. Kind of like certain stars, they have a certain equilibration. They hold in a certain pattern, keep certain other elements at bay. So our state holds it all together. Here we are in the great state of Maine, where, as the signs say in Freeport, life is as it should be. So, the natural state, deep forest love, deep forest peace that's weighty, peace like a lake. The word pond comes from the word ponderous. Things are heavy. There's a great weight to a lake, pond. And yet, it's water, it's pure gratitude. It ripples, it contains, it radiates. We too are 70% water element, rippling, radiating. Through the nose, deep meditative repose. Seems like every moment in our life is totally different. Every time I sit doing a meditation, beam out, it's totally different. So you could say it's kind of like a poem, kind of like we're all living poetry. Every moment has like its colors, its feelings, its tone, its texture, its resonance, its destiny, its depth. Just tuning into this moment's depth destiny. Which thoughts choose to hassle you? The general recommendation in the meditation world is don't try to repress the thoughts, just let them resolve themselves, right? They'll think themselves right out of existence. The thoughts aren't the problem, it's the attachment to them. That's different, right? I mean, there's yogis out there who would say that right there is the basis of enlightenment, meaning whether or not we're in the clutches of these thoughts. It's everything, because you can't help these thoughts a lot of the time, right? They're just happening. If we're taken hostage, if we're the prisoner of these thoughts, that could be bad, right? So the attachment to the thoughts, the gravity that holds them. It's like if we're not in fear, if we're not in contraction, there's not this tendency to grab them. So we just relax brain. Relax and resolve the clutching instinct. So that would be like saying you can have any old thought. It's fine, right? Off they go. They're flying around like butterflies. But the gaze is directive. So we can direct our attention, anything you want. And so to reflect back to the source expands the mind, right? Because we're meditating on something that's infinite. And that's a great feeling. So essentially that's the alkaline. We're meditating on spaciousness. Big space. If you want to forgive someone, get big space. Then that's irrelevant stuff. It's easy then. Big space. Just anchoring into that center in your being. If you're not sure where that is, there's different options. One of the best is just come right down the middle. Anchor in the dantian, in the solar plexus center. When someone's messing with you, right, you feel it in that place. Like, oh, plexus. It's the gut brain, the deep feeler. So your gut usually knows. So again, breathing through the nose, deep meditative repose to accommodate your gut that knows. Brain reacts to that, and the heart as well. And then the heart knows in advance things, so the cycle is brilliantly aligned. No better place can you find. That beautiful feeling. spot in the heart is so hot it would burn your fingers if you touched it. The aventricular AC node. Radiating from the spark of being. Again, so for everyone's blood, we're blessing these beings that came before us. So we are their DNA as well as our choice menus. Mother lines, blessing. Father lineage, blessings. Again, grandparents, especially great-grandparents. Clear disease from the last 100 years. A lot of these autoimmune diseases evidently come from the original virus that some understand as Epstein-Barr. This is, just based on what other people are saying, but suppose that were true, right? That there's a sort of root virus that has weakened people and then over various mutations has taken on different forms of autoimmune issues. I think they understand that as something that came in around the turn of the last century. So basically it's a 100-year-old phenomenon. And since that 1918 flu epidemic, there's been suffering. So it's almost like we want to bless this last 100 years in terms of how we carry it, how we hold it, how we collectively connect to it, so we can be liberated from that collective issue. So again, liberating from the collectives. Releasing from collective disease, collective fear, collective darkness, collective anxiety, collective heart disease, anything else that's blood-related, Lyme disease, all of its horrible friends. It's liberating us from the collective cling of all of those suffering gravities. Bust them up so we're no longer resonating with the collective disease part. Thank you, universe. Knows how this spotlight on the dark is going to show up for any particular person. Just depends on what kind of darkness is going on. So I'm just staying in this more meditative feeling right now. Spotlight on the dark. There's an external version It's a very corrupt world. Just open your eyes, there it is, right? And then, but perhaps a more relevant spotlight on the dark is obviously within. As I'm suggesting, we're connecting to these collectives. That's not good. So let's say this particular evening, this particular spiritual alchemy tonight, drawing from the deep woods of Maine, from the deep depths of meditative gravity, liberating us from the best of our ability, from collective Klingons, collective funk, people's dark crap, their limitations, their ignorance ultimately. Basically, the Buddha is saying it all comes from ignorance, evil, disease, darkness, misunderstanding, misperception, misalignment, misfit nature. Comes from not recognizing the true nature of beingness. So the antidote. Pure I am. Deeper than the deepest. I heard California's wildfires are 3 times as bad as last year's. There's a lot of suffering going on. So we're just holding to that midline. Neutral positive space, steady state. It's not a bad thing to block it out periodically for great lengths of time, because why should all this stuff disturb us? All sorts of imaginative ways to transcend the funky funk. But at the core of it all, right, that deep, peaceful acceptance of whatever it is, just peace with what is. Even your thoughts have to surrender to that. Denial seems to have a shelf life. So, for folks that have Lyme disease, heart issues, we're going to talk to the mother here, the Kundalini Ma, the supreme Shakti in your body, that which knows everything already, that which is the principles of kinesiology are based on the body intelligence. Your body already knows everything, but it's highly influenced by all sorts of collective projection, shadow, complex human issues. So we just want to keep flexing that inside out. Pure I am. Just flex it. Refreshes it. Keeping it light. Because at that level we don't weigh anything. And if you're not reacting in some silly way, right? We're in that beautiful bandwidth of yogis call Vijnanamaya Kosha, the goal of the spiritual journey. Just be able to be at peace with whatever it is. interactive with you, but the scroll seems to... Oh, good, there's a little more scroll. Comes in periodic bursts. We're just going more collective, just more anchoring into beautiful, peaceful feeling, transmit healing. Remember when we were younger, we probably put little sailboats into ponds and watched them sail around. Sort of like meditations are little offerings to the pond, to the great sea of consciousness. You float your little boat that has a beautiful feeling. It sails around. Little meditative offerings to the universe. Boats of peace. Say all politics is local. Spiritual law prevails. People make up all kinds of crazy rules, but the spiritual laws prevail. Just breathing through the nose. Deep meditative repose. My English mantra for tonight. Breathing through the nose. Deep meditative repose. Call this kind of a vibe meditation, like the vibe of Perfection 44, using that as the vehicle to take us past there's something called the ocean of samsara. It's the ocean of worldly pain. We want that boat across into the transcendental. Liberation and peace. We've got one more minute of perfection. I'll turn up the cat purr part. Thank you everyone for being here tonight. I'll just take another minute of total stillness. Just feel that deep woods vibration. Breathing through the nose. Deep meditative repose. Thank you everyone. So I hope this meditation has helped your body, your mind, your heart, your life. You can play it over again, and there's all kinds of videos on YouTube. There's Sudama Mark Kennedy. You can just subscribe, and it's like literally almost 100 hours of different topics. So enjoy, go deep. Lots of love, everyone. Namaste. Billion blessings. See you next week.